How goes it, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Emmett, and as always, please do your own research. I'm but one talking head amongst a sea of many, and I'm looking at things from a 30,000 foot view. So yes, this issue has slid across my desk, and I've essentially just been kind of sort of sitting and waiting and see what exactly is going to happen, and that is the situation when it comes to this one little organization, Collective Shout. Now, first and foremost, to the entirety of this, I will say that I am on the side of gamers on this one. Well, yeah, no shit, in saying that Collective Shout and the payment processors are definitely in the wrong on this one. In my eyes, this is definitely a mass form of censorship. Whether it chooses to try to say it's not censorship or not, you are essentially saying you can't play this because we disagree with it. And the payment processors, overstepping their bounds, mind you, are going beyond their job as a payment processor. Now look, first and foremost, it is of my opinion that nobody can tell you that you cannot spend your money on X, Y, and Z. If you have legally earned that money and you want to buy something with it, you can do whatever you want with that money, comma, so long as it's legal. And these games, as much as some people may like it, or as low-hanging fruit as they are still 100% legal. So we essentially have a Karenocracy saying that, oh, we tried contacting Steam, and rather than just being satisfied with the answer of Steam is a platform that does whatever it wants, it just pulled a let me see the fucking manager kind of attitude, which I think a lot of us disagree with. See, this is what we get for canceling The View. Just bring that show back, not for just for everybody's sake, so that way these people just have something to fucking do and they leave us alone, all right? And for some of you that are uninitiated, or maybe you might know a little bit about it, but they're on the side of saying, oh, well, they're just banning the games that I don't even play anyway. What's the big deal? Yeah, this is typically what these fringe and aggressive groups kind of sort of like doing, you know, and as much as I hate to use like this comparison because it is overblown and overpaid, it's the same thing as when the Holocaust, you know, first started ramping up. And to push that point, there is a poem, First They Came by Pastor Morton Niemo. I am not going to even bother pronouncing that because I'm going to butcher it, so I apologize to Pastor Martin. First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, then I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. Long story short, even if it's the games that we don't like, it's still on our platform, it's still in our wheelhouse of gaming, and whether we choose to like it or not, there is kind of sort of a duty of care for us as gamers to protect this area, because once they get rid of the low-hanging fruit, it never stops there. As somebody who's been on this planet for God knows like 30 some odd freaking years at this point, it never stops at one, and it's the same thing on both sides. Say for example, one of the things that I'm well in tune now was that the anti-Call of Duty sentiment. Call of Duty, when they first introduced all their money grabbing schemes, it never stopped at one game. They put it into more games and they expanded upon it to where it now is just a Fortnite microtransaction hell that, thank Christ, I did not buy. But Battlefield 6, I'm going to say, is actually looking pretty goddamn good. But this is just another example in gaming, at least when it comes to microtransactions. So for some of you who may have been around for a minute, let's talk EA. When it came to previous Battlefields, I think it was like Battlefield 5 or Battlefield 1, where they really just went hyperdrive into there will be an agenda in this game. And it pretty much turned a lot of people off, but just my 2 cents on the matter. Overall, from this movement, from what I've been seeing so far, you have all of the gamers, and strangely enough, what some people may not notice is even the enemies of gamers like Vice, and even a couple of other websites that shan't be named by a certain individual that called everything sexist and racist. You know, Missy Voldemort over there. Even they're joining in and saying this is highly stupid and this should not be done. And don't get me wrong, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. These were our enemies and they are helping us, but you also need to take into account that while they are helping us now as gamers, there's another ulterior motive in there, because I think they realize if we go down, they lose everything that they've been complaining about for the last, God knows, I want to say like 15 years, and they essentially lose a paycheck. So just keep that in mind. It's just one of my little theories. We may be temporary allies, but as soon as this was over, I'm willing to bet you we're going to go back at each other's throat. I hope not, but realistic, just me being a realist of the situation. In any event, it is still help that we have. This whole collective shout and payment processor thing, I don't believe it's a point to where it calls for regulation as of yet. If they keep pushing that horn or they keep trying to go down that route, then yes, it will be, unfortunately, a point, in my personal opinion, to where regulation will be required in order to make sure that this shit fucking stops. Quite frankly, I think it's fucking annoying, and I think a lot of people out there would agree with me that it's really annoying when you have, you know, just the unfettered access to pretty much just do anything that you want, again, slash, so long as it's legal. And then you're being told, no, you can't have this. Well, why not? Well, it's because this person over here is uncomfortable with it. It's like, who gives a fuck about them? And here's the problem that a lot of y'all, at least on one side or another, don't seem to realize, and this is just on censorship as a whole, and it's a famous Mark Twain quote. I'm pretty sure you've heard it maybe like once or twice. Essentially, censorship is like telling a man he can't have a steak because a baby can't chew it. That doesn't make any sense. If anything, I would say censorship, in my personal opinion, is, yes, a great downside. In some cases, I understand as to why they do it. Go see my SWAT video, or not SWAT video, excuse me, another game, my Ready or Not video from like 2 or 3 videos ago, ignoring, you know, the bad ones, but go see my Ready or Not video on the subject of censorship. I understand why some companies do it, and that's kind of sort of a double-edged sword. Same energy though. I understand it, but I disagree with it wholly. You have a nice product here that can get a lot more views, that can get a lot more eyeballs on it, but you chose to censor it so that way it'd be easier for somebody else to digest, and you took everybody else out with it. So yeah, just my personal opinion. Again, I disagree with this whole collective shout situation. I disagree with the whole payment processor thing. All in all, a payment processor is just that. It is there to process payments. Dot blank, simple. It should not do anything more than that. It shouldn't censor anything that you have going in through that, because regardless whether here's the thing, even if it's something that they don't like, it's like, oh, well, personally, I just don't feel comfortable with you buying this. Shut the hell up and process the payment. You get a cut regardless. So by doing this, even for, I know the subject that we're talking about, but even this, for people that do spend money on that game, you're saying, well, we're just going to go ahead and cut out this whole niche market. It's like, okay, cool. So you cut out that niche market and you lost that much in profits. So how far are you willing to go? How much more are you willing to cut before you realize, oh shit, we pretty much just cut everybody out at the behest of just people who did not like the other end of the spectrum? And quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, that is where it ultimately disgusts me, is because you have these groups who don't really understand, nor are willing to understand the other side of the argument. It's just pretty much their way or the highway. A Karen. It's a Karen, or a Kyle in some cases. But you have these individuals who don't want to see the other side, who are pretty much just stuck in their ways, and people like that are always going to exist on this planet. I'm sorry, it is what it is. They exist on both sides, to include in the middle. They exist. You have some people who just are stuck in their ways, and they're going to disagree with you as much from here until the day that they die. The difference is, when they disagree with you, what are they going to do about it? Are they just going to say, okay, screw it, it's not for me, y'all do you? Or are they going to be like this other place where it's this other let's say this other force, collective shout, and just say, no, we don't like it, so we're just going to get rid of it, forgetting the fact that they could just as easily ignore it. This is a weird spot, ladies and gentlemen, because when I was younger, don't get me wrong, I knew people had differences. I'm not trying to sound like a pseudo intellectual or a know-it-all here, but this is just basic shit growing up, at least in my time. Yeah, I knew people had differences, but it just mainly boiled down to, hey, I don't mess with them and I'm going to leave it alone. Now, here's the problem. We've regressed so far that this is no longer an issue of, hey, this is no longer just a subject of, hey, we're just going to let them like stew in their own muck, set up the walls and just, yeah, whatever, they do them and we're going to focus on us. We've gone into the era to where everybody wants to bully somebody. And that is very much worrisome for me. Don't get me wrong, collective pockets of people saying, yeah, do you do you, I'll do me, they still exist, but that is no longer the general sentiment anymore. And it is worrisome, to say the least. I'm hoping we can go back. It seems like things outside of this are chilling down a little bit, but it's going to be a long time. And quite frankly, it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not pleasing, I guess, to hear. But anyway, I'm ranting at this point. Y'all stay safe. Have a good one. When it comes to this whole collective shout situation, come back. When it comes down to it, this is going to keep happening until we as gamers and everybody else just essentially just say, you know what? Screw it. Since you guys want to use bad tactics all the time in order to try to, you know, put the boot on us, we'll just use them back on you, because this is just getting ridiculous. All gamers want to do is just be left the hell alone. That's all we want. This should not turn into a weird conversation about, well, you can't enjoy it because I don't like it. Nobody gives a fuck. Go do your own thing. Now I'm gone. I'm ranting. Y'all stay safe. Have a good one. I'm out.